Hi Thirgers, so this video is just to show you how to make the Autumn Tart, so hopefully you've got a copy of the recipe as well. So the reason that we're doing this part of our fruit and vegetables module is to look at the food that is in season in autumn at the moment. So you might find that you've got apple trees, plum trees at home, even blackberries would work quite well. So if you've got any of that food, fruit in your garden or your family's garden, then please do bring that in. If not, you can just go to the shop and buy yourself some apples or rhubarb or whatever's in season at the moment. So the ingredients that you need to bring in is a pack of ready-made rolled, if possible, puff pastry. You can get this frozen or chilled. Make sure that it is chilled when you bring it into school, and this needs to go into the fridge. Please don't carry this around in your bag because it'll become really sticky and slimy. It must go in the fridge first thing in the morning. And you need your fruits, so it is about 2 to 3 eaten apples, apricots, plums, kind of like a handful of fruit. And you also need 40 grams of sugar. Any type of sugar will work, caster granulated or brown sugar, just whatever you've got in the house. And then we will provide you with some butter, which is going to get mixed with the sugar and hopefully make a lovely caramel sauce. So the first thing that we're going to do is just preheat our oven, so it's 200 degrees or gas mark 6. When you cook with pastry, it's really important your ovens are nice and hot. That's going to give you that lovely golden brown and crispy texture. The second thing that we're going to do is just roll out your pastry onto the desk. Now we don't need to flour it, because what hopefully should happen is that you've got its own little grease-proof paper on this, and we're going to use this to cook on and so forth to help with washing up. So just roll the pastry out. Okay, just be quite gentle with it. Like so. It normally comes in a rectangular shape. If it rips a little bit like mine has, please don't worry. Just pat it back down. Okay, now the main way of doing this is it depends on whatever shape you want to do. You could do 2 long rectangles and make 2 tarts. You could make some smaller ones and quarter it into squares. If you want to be really fancy, you could get a circle cutter, so maybe your plastic bowl, and you can cut around it and make circle shapes. It's completely up to you, whatever you feel comfortable with. I'm just going to go quite straightforward, and I'm going to make some rectangular ones like so. Okay, so you can see I've divided it like that. And then what I'm going to do in each of my rectangular pieces is I'm just going to score very gently, okay, if you can see that, a little border. So when we're scoring, we're just using a sharp knife. We're not going all the way down. This is just going to create a really nice crust, okay? Now nothing is going to go on that crust. Everything's going to be kept into the middle. And then what I'm going to do is just move that over to one side. I'm going to prepare my apples. And the key with this is all about presentation. I want this to look really good, so I'm going to take a bit of care, use my knife skills to make sure my apples sliced really thinly. The same with your plums and so forth. If obviously you've got black currants or blackberries, then you've not really got much of a job to do here. So I'm going to core my apple. I'm going to leave the skin on because it's got colour in there. It's going to make it look really nice, and it's also going to give me lots of fibre. Bridge down, and then just cut this into really fine slices. Okay, so I'm going to do that, and then I'll bring you back when that's okay. So what I've done is just slice those up into as even as thin possible slices as you can do, and then this. I have laid those in a kind of fan shape. You can do this however you want to in my square. You can do like a circle fan. There are pictures on here that give you different ideas of how to present it. And then obviously I'm going to repeat it on the rest of my full squares. Excuse me. Once we get to this point, we will give you some melted butter, and you're just going to take a pastry brush and just liberally apply the butter. And as I said, this is going to make your kind of caramel sauce, make it lovely golden brown. If you want, you can mix fruits. You could do apple and blackberry, apple and plum, just whatever you like. But do take a bit of time getting the presentation exactly how you want it. Just a bit, And then you've got your sugar, so we're just going to sprinkle over the sugar on top. So this is going to be enough for 4, and that's going to caramelise with our butter and create that lovely sauce. So once you've done all 4 of those, alright, so I get to see that there, what you're going to do is just trim down any excess grease-free paper, and we're going to use this to go straight onto your tray. So really carefully just lift that up. Again, you will have filled all 4 in. I'm just doing one to show you how to make them. And then that is going to go in the oven, okay? And your oven should be preheated. And it takes about 20 minutes to cook, so I'll show you what mine looks like when it's finished. Okay, so that's been in the oven for about 20 minutes. We can see that it's done, and because you've got your upturned border here, that's lovely and golden brown and crispy, and your apples should be really nice and soft. If you've caught a little bit on the edges, don't worry, and that's just the sugar caramelising. So what you're going to do is on your tray, remember you might have more trays, or you'll have 2 on the tray, is we're just going to use a fish slice. Just remove it, it should come off the paper quite easily, if not just give it a bit of persuasion, and then you're going to lift it, okay, and pop it into your container. I'm just going to use a plate here, and then if you want to, there'll be some ice and sugar, and you can just dust some ice and sugar over the top, and then that's ready to go, and that's your autumn tart, sorry.